Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Lucilla. In the previous episode of the Back to Portugal series, we left the heart of Alentejo to make our way to the coastal Alentejo. We arrived in time for the sunset at Troia. In this episode, we stopped by at the Comporta rice fields, toured the Carrasqueira fishing docks on stilts, and then drove along the coastal route with a lunch stop at São Martinho de Porto before ending at Nazaré to look for big waves. Early morning, we stopped briefly just outside the Comporta Rice Museum. It was overcast and very windy, as well as raining on and off. So these are the rice fields of Comporta. Very different from how rice farming is done in Southeast Asia, where it's pretty much it's a wet style of rice farming or rice planting. Here it's not as wet. I mean, it's a very low-lying marshy area. Across from the Rice Museum were these docks on stilts, a very common structure in this part of the coast. This is the Porto Palafita de Carrasqueira, and it's part of a natural reserve of the estuary of Sado. There are places here for fishing, for walking or hiking. Carrasqueira is famous for its fishing docks on stilts. It extends quite a ways out from the banks of the river. The stilts are used so that fisher folks can access their small fishing boats even in low tide, exposing the muddy ground.
We are in the fishing village of Carrasqueira. They fish off of the estuary of the Rio Sado. So Rio Sado comes out over here and meets the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, just behind us right now. Towards Troia, and that's Setúbal over there. And it's low tide because you can tell by all the way all these stilts are still there. The old piers are still there. And they're sort of a protected area. They're considered heritage the way they were built, and there's nothing else like it in Portugal.
So it's low tide right now, so that's why you're seeing some of the fishing boats on the marsh, on land. And look at the variety of fishing huts. Here you have a fairly new construction made of plywood, relatively clean looking, and you have some pretty much just put together with whatever material is on hand. I can see some birds on the mud flats, maybe picking at some sea life.
Ameixa, ostra.
Oscar.
Ostra.
This is quite a long pier going all the way to the very end. And this is at the end of the line. Por favor, respect her.
So we got a main dock over here that's actually, I'm pretty sure it's maintained by the city or by the government funded anyways. And then you got all the side little docks that the fishermen themselves build and they maintain to a certain degree. As you can see, there's that one over there that's it's falling apart. Obviously, the fishermen that used to fish out of that dock, he may have abandoned the whole fishing industry because it's not a very profitable business to be in.
Especially for small scale fishing.
Yeah. It's very difficult to. I'm sure it's very difficult to make a living in the small fishing industry. This is really quite a unique little place. It reminds me a little bit of Newfoundland in that sense. These docks hanging off of the edge of the shoreline. It's a low tide. It's been emptying out. As you can see by all the shore, it's all exposed. I don't know if there's anybody out fishing or not. We did see a fisherman back there. He was tending to his oysters and his clams. He had picked up some fresh oysters and fresh clams. He even offered me some.
A storm front is moving in. Oh, the wind has picked up.
So right now we're leaving the Alentejo coastal area and taking a little bit of a detour, going out along the coast. We're heading towards São Martinho de Porto, fishing village, an operational fishing village, and also a summer resort destination for the locals. And it's about an hour and a half drive away. We're going to go around Lisbon, pretty much, across the Tejo River.
We have left Alentejo about an hour prior. It's very windy out here. The eucalyptus were just bending with the wind. The road leading to São Martinho, and I think it's straight ahead. See the town there.
It's the bay.
Along the bay. Very, very gusty along here.
You see the way the trees are all bent over. I wonder if this is as a result of the wind.
I would imagine so.
Continually coming across this direction, I suppose. The branches are all leaning out towards the road. Look at that. Very interesting.
So it is so windy, the wind coming from the northeast. But look at the waves over there. You can see it. And then once you're into the harbor, it's a little bit more protected, but you could see the water just creating this surf and moving from north to south. All right, we're down here by the harbor. We are trying to look for a place to eat. Because it's, what, 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock.
Yeah. Hopefully they haven't closed the kitchen.
The last time we were here was in the summer of 2018, when the harbor was alive with a sailing regatta and the beach crowded with people. The emptiness of the beach now made for a stark contrast.
We just got here and we're having clams for lunch. The last time we were here, this place was packed with people, but then again it was summertime, so now it's winter. It's quiet in terms of people-wise. There's nobody around.
It's very, very windy, but with the sun shining, actually it feels nice with the sun.
and it's not too bad. It's not a cold wind.
No, we're sitting outside.
Yeah.
It's like 14 degrees Celsius, but with the sun shining on us, we have a little layer, not too much. And obviously this bread is to die for. The beer, Fino, is only 100 milliliters. It's not 460 milliliters beer. I prefer these ones this way. I get small ones. I get them, repeat them more often. I always keep my beer nice and cool.
Well, let's dig in.
I already did.
The Seaside Cafe had an excellent view of the scallop-shaped harbor. That was a great lunch. It was so delicious, the clams, but also
look how many shells she has, and look how many shells I have.
the sauce that they used. Like it had
Get into that.
butter and
White wine
and parsley and white wine and garlic. It was
lemon.
and
A
lemon.
little bit of lemon.
Paolo had 2 bottles of beer.
Not bottles.
2.
Finos. This is called a Fino.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
This is a nice coastal route. On our left side, we can see views of the Atlantic Ocean. And because it's so windy right now, we can see the white caps and the surfs. At the same time, we're also going through these pine forests. So it's a lovely drive. Our final stop was the city of Nazaré, hoping to see some big waves.
Gust?
Yes, yeah.
Topple me over.
Yeah.
And you're a skinny little boy. And you can see out in the ocean the wave action out there. Like that. Sailing in condition to be sailing in, that's for sure.
Over there is Nazaré.
Yeah. I can see the tram line. Now one line in the middle of the green. That's the tram line going up to the top. And just the other side will be Praia do Norte, and that's where they usually hold all the surfing events, where the biggest waves are usually recorded. And we can see the wave action. A lot of white surf. They're forecasting some strong waves for this weekend over there in Nazaré. We're gonna go check it out.
This is the Nazaré Marina to our left. And we see some boats that are on the hard as well as on the water, at the dock, at the slip. And it's a fairly large marina. It has a chandlery, stores. Paolo and I have been at Nazaré a few times in the past for lunches and dinners, and for walking around in the sand, in the beach during the summer. And we enjoy that. But this time around, we're just going to look for big waves, check them out. And hopefully there will be big waves when we get there.
I seem confused. We'll see.
Yeah. We parked the car at the Sitio district that has a panoramic view of the city and beach below. We then walked over to the lookouts by the lighthouse with a view of Praia do Norte.
What are they doing? I think they might be trying to get cover from the waves on the other side, from the wind. You know, there's nobody surfing along here, you know what I mean?
Well, we didn't see any big waves, and very few surfers riding the waves. But the heavy winds produce some big swells.
Okay, so you're at the Nazaré lighthouse, and the winds are really blowing hard over here. People walking down this roadway, they have to lean into the wind, otherwise they can get blown around. See all the stickers over here from all the surfers. Whoa!
So we're leaving Nazaré. We came down to see the big waves. We saw some fairly large waves, not the big waves, but boy, was it very windy. We were just almost being blown over, but we were bent backwards against the wind. But now it's time to leave and head back to the Minho Alagado.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell to see more upcoming videos of our stay in Portugal.